So you
So
guys
are
all
we
get
here?
together.
So are we all together?
Everyone's
You're all
here.
together. You're all.
All right.
You all.
All right,
get
everybody.
together in a
I've
room.
been thinking about this, and I have like a bunch of pages written out. How to approach tomorrow and the different missions that we're on, and how we can split it up and make sure everybody feels like they have purpose and be efficient tomorrow, because we can't spend too much time. I've had a little too much coffee, but I'm feeling good, and I'm ready to talk about what we're doing tomorrow. So if anybody has anything to say, let me know now. I'm just gonna dive in.
Go right ahead.
All right. So we got to find out a lot of research. Where can we do research in town? People who have been to Lighthaven before, speak up, raise your hand. We got to find out about the Subject 17. We got to find out about the Freegate facility. We got to learn more about how we can maybe bust out Tana, or if we need to, or how easy it is. Backdoor entrance to Freegate, all this stuff. Where's somewhere that we can go and find more information? Do we have a contact? Brainstorm with me. What are we thinking?
Is there like an archive or a library or somewhere?
There is. There is a place known as the House of Knowledge. It is somewhere between a great, massive library / museum / church to the God of Knowledge. They are the sort of doctrine that they adhere to is that knowledge isn't just like to be gathered, but to be shared. And thus, any knowledge that is within the House of Knowledge is designed to be given away. Technically, even particularly dangerous knowledge, although that can be a bit of a touchy, dogmatic subject. A lot of times, imperial law may restrict them from doing it, even if they themselves believe that technically everyone has a right to it. So there are some lines that are drawn, but as a general rule, if you are looking for information, the best place to start your search would be the House of Knowledge. It is the sort of central building that helps provide texts, scrolls, and diagrams, anything that you would need, any knowledge, to the surrounding academies within Lighthaven. There are multiple academies, some to learn arts, some to learn sciences. There are 3 kind of major ones for getting sort of a certification as either a wizard or a knight. Well, I guess technically a magus, or a knight or a ranger. So there's sort of an outdoor survival school, and then a sort of a military training school, and then a school of wizardry. And all 3 of those also all kind of key into the House of Knowledge itself. It is as big a knowledge base as anything, unless you know exactly what you're looking for. So, anybody within Lighthaven should be able to tell you that the academies in Lighthaven are pretty central to how the city runs, and they're pretty central in the city just geographically. So
I think that's a good start, maybe especially if we could find, the pipe dream would be blueprints of the Freegate facility or something like that. But if we're trying to find research, information on Subject 17, on maybe more information about some things we heard about Tana, more about Leopold is your ex-husband, Marie?
Yes.
So like someone who's like an information broker, I guess sort of like a Scratch, but in Lighthaven, and not necessarily on the shadier side of things, but I'm open to it. But do we have anybody like that in this town? And that's for Gunolf.
I was going to add, yeah,
or
Gunolf, do you
Jess.
know anybody who has their ear to the ground in this city?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Besides what's readily available in the House of Knowledge, the only real person that I know in this town is the person that helps me with getting together everything that I need to travel back and forth from here in Dawn Lake. So they help me with carriage and like transportation materials. this is the only other person that I really have like an extensive contact with. I don't know anybody else as far as knowledge. I've definitely gone to the house myself, and that's how I was able to create these tiny little objects that'll help me do magic, because I'm not necessarily attuned to it myself. So it helped me put together the schematic in which I was able to create these things. But as far as knowing somebody that would know anything more than what's already there, I don't have anybody. I'm sorry.
I wonder if the play is to go to the House of Knowledge and see if we can find someone who does deal in things that are a little bit less above board, because I'm as curious about what the hell's going on at that facility as anybody, and we have multiple reasons to want to find out more. Don't get me wrong. But I worry that if we ask the wrong people, we're going to be putting up smoke signals asking about a facility that clearly has been kept under wraps for quite some time.
Yep, exactly.
The strange thing is the people that you need to approach for that information, you can find who to approach that information even in the House of Knowledge. So it's a great place to go.
Right.
And then I guess the last thing I would say is, is there a peacekeeping agency who might have some information about strange-looking folk who have come through town, or any strange occurrences that actually might be connected to what we're looking into, or like anything like that?
The City Watch certainly exists. They're stationed out of the Nadir Hold. It's sort of next to the river that runs kind of through Lighthaven itself. It's kind of near the campus, close to the Night College. But yeah, there is a City Watch. You could certainly go to them and ask them questions if you wanted.
Do we, and I might have like relayed this if I had seen it in that disc, but do we know like what Subject 17 looks like that we could like describe to the people? Like did I see it? I don't
Yes. So so you know what Subject 17 looks like now, which is to say, like, you caught the memories that Dr. Bishop had,
Yeah.
wherein they saw them. But at that point, I mean, you could describe them, but like you are describing sort of the spectral, ghostly face of somebody that is like, their hair is sort of burning. They're sort of like a spectral flame. So
Oh.
I don't know how well that translates into like a before scenario, if that's what you're
Mhm.
kind of aiming for.
Yeah.
Well, and
Otherwise, you might as well just be like, "Hey, have you seen a burning ghost?" And they probably be like, "Oh, yeah, I know
All the
what you're talking
time.
about." Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And that's how they would have appeared when they went through Lighthaven? Does that make
Well,
sense?
without knowing exactly how all that went, I can say that you know from the disc that when the experiment to make them who they are now happened, that was post Subject 17's death already. She had already died, and they needed essentially a soul that was compatible with the experiments that they were doing, and they eventually settled on her and brought her soul in. Sort of when they make anchorites, think of it like necromancy, or like when you do like a seance, right? You sort of summon a spirit, a very particular spirit out. Normally that can be done. It's usually done controlled by the Kirin. They sort of know what souls they're looking for, ones that they've deemed worthy, or they're maybe doing interviews with the spirits to say, hey, are you cool or whatever. And then they basically nominate them to put them in the anchorite suits to basically give them a second chance. This looks like they sort of picked a not 100% sane soul to bring back for these experiments, but that doesn't really give you a time frame on if she was ever alive. Like, was she tied to any of this when she was alive? You would have no way of knowing.
Okay.
Didn't see anything nothing in that what you saw indicated that was true, but I obviously can't tell you if it was or wasn't. So
Okay.
And I'm looking, and it looks like Subject 17 would have come through the town 4 years ago.
I believe that was correct.
So I don't know how much information they're going to have about a random person half a decade ago. Oh, it's going to be hard.
I had a question about the spectral thing. So can they inhabit anything that they want, or does it need to be like a ritual done for them to be able to inhabit something new?
So ghosts, I mean, obviously ghosts kind of can possess things to a degree, like if you wanted to haunt a location, but that's very taxing. It's not necessarily something you can do forever. The point of the anchorite suits is to basically create a like environment that's the kind of gases and everything that they use are sort of magically charged and such that they can just occupy that permanently, essentially.
Okay.
And it sort of recycles in such a way as to keep it functioning and running. That's how like Sharp exists. Sharp is basically just a ghost in a suit, possessing a suit. No offense, Sharp.
Sean doesn't believe in me
Wow.
because I'm a ghost. I'm sorry.
But like,
But they do act like ghosts, kind of, in like our supernatural world.
In which way? As in, like, they could possess other things?
Yeah,
if they wanted to?
or just make things move without you being able to see them, or do you always see them?
Okay, so a regular ghost you don't normally see
Right.
unless there's like certain equipment or other things that would allow you to do that, or the ghost is exerting a lot of energy to make that happen. And the same would go like possession. The ghosts can't just possess anything. They can't just wander around and be like, look, I'm everywhere. Like the world would just be awash with ghosts. Keep in mind that like any of the humanoid races, the men folk, they don't have a god that has claimed them. Like normally they might serve a god or whatever, but normally none of them are claimed by a god. Neither are any of the dragons, the drakes, the kobolds, any of that. So all of their souls technically just sort of wander about ethereally in the material world, and only in certain situations where they may say haunt or say choose a place to sort of anchor their soul are they really strong enough to ever manifest themselves. The anchorite suits are like a cheat. They create a location that they become bound into. It's a lot like you could imagine Full Metal Alchemist. Like he's bound into that armor. If you cut that connection, they sort of just foof back into the world. And it can be very disorienting. They may not be sure quite where they end up after that. And oftentimes they'd have to be sort of resummoned all over again. Because they are sort of emotionally tied to certain areas or certain things or people or whatever, like ghosts are.
Got
So
it.
they can't just wander around and start playing chess with everybody. That's not quite how that works, No.
Understood. Thank you.
So, Jason, help me like course correct a little bit here, because so we're talking about like learning more about Subject 17 and where she came from. We already know about her. Her name is Grace. She came from Lighthaven. She died, self-immolation. So, like, do we have any reason to think that this is helpful to anything else, or we already kind of know about Subject 17? And
I think it's more for like Sharp trying to find the connection with like her husband, right? Because the notes on 17 were in her husband's handwriting, so it's like trying to find that connection. So, but I don't think Sharp hasn't shared all of that stuff with you guys, because I think she's been a little secretive about her husband. So, in this scenario, Sharp can take that on and just be like, I'll look into that.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. You guys don't help. I don't want help.
Okay.
If that
theory,
helps.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And Sharp knows that her husband has had some sort of operation in the city. And the evidence that pointed in that direction was the document that had that information on Subject 17. Now, whether Subject 17 is Grace was like directly involved or is super important or anything like that, that's a whole different question.
Okay.
But as far as some of the main clues just in that itself were just that the Leopold had some sort of connection or ties to Lighthaven. So that might be just sort of part of some other mysteries or what have you that are going on here. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like Marie wants to pursue the Subject 17 I don't want to say quest line of questioning.
Yes.
Okay.
Alone. For no specific reason.
Great.
Hmm.
And we're all like, yeah, sure, that's not suspicious.
That makes
at all.
sense. Yeah.
Ah.
Myra, this is a bit of a long shot, but is it worth asking if Tana ever came through here in the last few months? Reason I ask is your people are a little bit more rare. Someone may have remembered her. We can use you as almost an example of, to jog their memories, but just to maybe get a little more understanding about what she was doing and lead it to getting wrongfully arrested for burning down a house.
Yes, I think that would be wise. I want to understand her movements as well, and try to understand what happened to her. So I think that makes the most sense.
She may not have been anywhere near this area recently, for all we know, but if there's a place called the House of Knowledge, it could be worth a shot.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I want to go to House of Knowledge. Want to learn things.
What do you want to learn?
All the things.
What is smelly
Okay.
rock?
Perfect.
We'll just start
We
on
can
one
help with
end of
that.
the aisle and we'll go down.
I'm just imagining like a Fifth Element starting with a letter A.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Literally.
We'll go down.
Literally.
Well,
Yeah.
plus, that way when she gets to like F for facility, it's going to look a lot more innocuous because she's just going
Yeah.
through an order. I mean,
Exactly.
it's not weird.
Okay.
Yeah, there is. I'm not sure if anybody would mention it. I feel like one of you would. There is, like I said, there is a College of the Arts, and there is a theater here in Lighthaven, the Do Light Theater. And so, if you were looking for Tana and you knew she had an inclination for the arts, that might be a direction you look into.
That sounds
Obviously,
good.
the House of Knowledge is also a good place to go, but I mean, given that you and your sister are on a quest for beauty and art, that might be something someone would have mentioned.
Maybe we can hit the theater first and be like, hey, did you see anyone like me? And then we can continue to the House of Knowledge because we want to go there anyway. So and then Kestrel can learn all the things. So
Yeah, Roz, and along those lines, there could be something on Neravine in the House of Knowledge. Something. I don't know. We have a lead on her already, but I feel like it doesn't hurt to ask around, right?
Are we thinking about splitting up and going? Maybe one group go to theater and the other one goes to the House of Knowledge.
I don't.
Or do we
think-
want to stay together?
I think we can stay together, with the exception that maybe Myru stops by the theater, just like on the way, checks in, and then joins us at the House of Knowledge. But it
Okay.
seems like everything we're looking for at least can start there, and then we can branch out.
It is a
While
possibility they have something on Neravine. I've never been here before, and it does sound like a place with a wealth of knowledge. At the same time, she's been missing for so long that the number of people that might have seen her anytime is so small. But
Yeah.
again, as you said, there's no harm in asking.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there's
Well,
even a tome about the tome. Maybe something that we find can point to the nature of that talking book that you have. So, who knows? It sounds like a fascinating place.
And Sharp will actually she'll join you guys initially at the House of Knowledge to kind of start there and then potentially go to the City Guard or wherever. So
Okay.
I
And
can
while everybody's
actually
there, should
join
I?
you there too,
Okay.
since I have somewhat of like military experience. I could talk to them and maybe convince them as well, along with you.
yeah.
She's thinking maybe, but she wants to go
Yes.
alone is her thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's secret. No. Yeah. I'll like see what I find and then just so I don't look like a bad person, I'll take you up on that, Albus. No, I don't want your help.
I'm coming with you.
While everybody's doing that, should I get our vehicle transport ready for going to first Tonleka, and then second the other place we just named.
Casimir.
Yes, thank you, Casimir.
It doesn't hurt, but I think we all should be together to then go to the New Keslov place and ask about if we want to. But I figure that makes sense. We don't have a reason to think it'll go south, but it could. They ain't great replacements.
Right.
Place.
Yeah, Little Keslov. Yeah.
Yeah. Little Keslov. Yeah.
No.
Sounds great.
Okay. So, you guys have a game plan? You're gonna tuck in for the night?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do we do our rest
Sit on the
activity
floor.
maybe?
I think rest activities should happen. I'm of the opinion that that is the case. So
I will
does
say
everyone-
that I already spent my midnight oil on the arm and hand, so mine is good to go.
Okay, that makes sense. Does
I'm gonna
everyone
say
else
Steve
sort of
already
remember?
has been doing it's daydream, and it's kind of visualizing all the different possibilities that the next day could have, and the different routes we could take, and all of that. So he's good.
Everybody else, you've all chosen one already. Did you guys? You always, like I said, we always had the opportunity for you to choose the second one, and then sort of lock that one in.
I'd like to establish my second one.
Okay, what's your second one?
So as it gets late, Rosalind would like to slip out and go gamble in a back alley.
Okay. Well, then, do some gambling for me, sir.
So she's gonna look for, as in a city of this size, she's gonna look to set up, one of those like 3-card Monte kind of stalls and see if she can get somebody in the city just to come by and lose some money potentially, if everything goes according to plan.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll that.
let's
I have to
see.
get back on the roll 20.
Yes.
Oh God, where are the dice in the mobile version of this? I'm just gonna type it manually because I can't see a damn thing on this tiny screen. What is that?
That was a 2.
2.
Well, that's okay. Because it's not a 1 is the main thing with that. That's one
Correct.
thing we want
So
not to
that-
happen when possible.
Yeah, so that should be essentially nothing happens. It's a break
But
break even.
I will spin that into a 7 using my ability.
Okay. Cheat fade a little bit. I like it.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Which is called, of course, Lucky 7. So I'm going to turn that 2 into a 7 just to be able to make some money. I'm basically hustling.
Mhm.
Not going to get a ton out of it, but still, she's aware of the fact that we seem to need money. Even this is not going to cover just this one night stay, but is going to keep trying to get stuff on the side as much as she can.
Yeah. Because it's what character level times 10. Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you wagering the whole amount? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so 70. So she basically adds 70.
70.
It's nothing major, but
Yeah.
It's also just it's just a rest action. It's not meant to be massive amounts of money or
Correct.
or
Yes, yes, yes.
resources or whatever. And for people who are curious, we basically modeled this after a couple other ones that were similar, but for like, Albus and gathering ingredients or something like that. So it's similar to where there's a range and certain outcomes do different things. And this is one where she gets a small win, but of course she needs to roll an 8 to get the jackpot and can't shoehorn that in with Lucky 7. So
So you have to genuinely roll lucky to get that. Yep.
So that's her best action. She just
Uh,
goes out and swindles some poor people of Lighthaven with some basic games in the alley, and then after about an hour or two, packs up shop and heads back to the hotel.
Okay, that sounds good. What does everybody else do for their evening?
I mean,
We
I
can
probably-
also increase bonds, right?
Yes.
for rest activities. So
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that should be a thing that you guys can do. You can like strengthen one that exists, create a different one, that sort of thing.
okay, just keeping everybody making sure everybody's aware. Okay.
Well, Sharp, she's gonna do a similar thing to Steve. She's gonna daydream, just reflecting on everything from Bishop and thinking about what she could learn or discover tomorrow. Kind of preparing for that. And then I was wondering if I could do a bond with Gunnall since I've been helping him tinker so much. I feel like she spent a lot more time with him recently or like doing different things, and I think she would do that.
Sure, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether you perform a camp activity or rest activity or not, you can still use the resting scene to adjust bonds. So
Okay.
if that is something that you'd like to do, you can. Yes.
I do loyalty. I'll do loyalty. I don't know if I needed to announce that, but loyalty.
Sure. Loyalty to Gunnolf. Okay. Okay.
I'm probably gonna. I haven't put my shackles back on. Actually, I
Mhm.
gotta nab those out of Gunnolf's bag. Keep them close by. You can't just keep them forever.
Did we had mentioned it at in front of the store, right?
Well, we mentioned that I had my new cloak now, but I don't remember. I didn't take my shackles back, so if it didn't happen in the game, it didn't happen at all. So I would like to take them back.
The longest time you've been away from constant contact with it?
Are you asking me as your character or?
Sure.
Yes, long time. Very nervous. Lots of new smells, new people, things.
Does
Very
being nervous
overwhelming.
kind of trigger your instincts?
And she just kind of thinks about it. She's like, yes, some emotion. Fear, one, and anger, especially. But
Okay.
hunger,
Okay.
too. So Albus should feed me.
That sounds great. We can absolutely get some food with Albus.
I've got plenty in my satchels.
So yes, anxiety, like fear, kind of. Lots of things, lots of new things.
It's okay. I'm here, and we'll make it better.
Okay, thank you. And I hold them, and my rest activity is to have them off so I can do my little meditation and gain my cleanse thing. So I'll probably just hold them in my hands while I do that.
Should I give you just one of them so I can inspect and see if there's any way to look at a stone without destroying
Well,
it?
I'm holding them.
Okay, that works.
You'd like?
So we're just sitting across from each other and both holding this object.
Yeah. I'm holding on to it because it makes me feel better, and you're just poking around.
Okay.
Great.
Secret?
Yeah.
Is that everybody? Albus?
Albus.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some gathering.
Okay.
Which means I need to roll.
Are you gonna? Yeah, I mean, go for it. We can figure out what kind of ingredients or where you go. Actually, yeah,
We'll see what happens.
I
Hopefully, I get some ingredients. All right, I gotta roll a d6. Get 5. 5
Pretty
means
should be 3 ingredients.
looks
with
tasty.
random
Target
tastes.
receives 3 ingredients with random tastes. Cool.
Mm-hmm. So So you kind of wander out looking for a place to sort of get. Well, I guess here's a question: are you just sort of like, are you shopping about? Maybe do just a little bartering for stuff, gather some things, or like, are you literally gonna be like, I'm gonna try to find food in this city?
Can I
Like,
talk to the innkeeper downstairs and maybe like kind of just have like a dialogue and maybe see if they're offering some extra food that they might not use or kind of thing?
Sure. Actually, yeah. You go down and you meet with Miss Kate down there, and she brings you back to the kitchen. One of the you see another younger gal, clearly another one of her daughters. This one's a brunette, kind of has like their hair kind of tied back, and they've got like a wand, and they're like moving stuff around in the kitchen or whatever. And Miss Kate's just like, she's like, Bobby, I told you to stop using the magic in the kitchen. Use your hands. And she's just like, but Ma, it's so much faster. And then like you do definitely notice that there are things that are not positioned, and like portions have not been served appropriately in certain areas, clearly because like there are hovering cups and things that are just not doing a very good job. And is after she sort of gives her daughter a bit of a talking to, she says, she points out like, yeah, as you can see, we certainly got enough food to spare. Lord knows Bobby's been spilling it all over the place. Thinks she's gonna be a wizard or something. I don't know why my girls can't just be happy with where they are. Anyway, of course, what are you looking for? And she kind of shows you that like they've got certain ingredients that are a little I'd say close to expiration, as in like if they don't use them all up, they're gonna have to get rid of them in
Okay.
like a couple days or whatever. So they certainly have no problem passing them off to you.
Cool.
They weren't really sure what meal they were going to make out of them. Like, sure, making a meat pie is great. We weren't really sure if we needed to add these mushrooms to it, but we have them. So, like, if you want to take them and put them to good use, they have no problem giving you some.
Excellent.
And if you even like hop in the kitchen and maybe help get the meals together, they'd certainly be more than happy to. I mean, I'd even let you pick one of the ingredients if you wanted to do some help and help them out.
Job.
I
Get
was
some
gonna
money.
say, I noticed that the magical usage was not making the food properly. So as I'm recognizing it, I kind of just look at the innkeeper and I go, I have some culinary talents myself. Could you use a hand here in the kitchen?
And she's like, oh, absolutely. Are you telling me that you're a chef?
Trying to be.
And
I could use all the practice I could get.
Well, by all means, if you've got something, I'd love to see what you can cook up. We got a lot of hungry mouths to feed here, and my girls cannot keep up. Bless their hearts.
Tell me what station you want me on, and I will help out as much as I can.
And she just sort of goes, well, we sort of do things however we see fit around here. And I mean, she sort of just brings you to different spots. The kitchen is very like, let's put it this way, homemade. There's definitely no, like, this is not a professional kitchen. There are no like set stations. It's just like, this is where we've kept these. This is where we're keeping these. It is definitely a little chaotic. But you can the one daughter, Bobby, is certainly trying her best. And if you ask her, she can sort of tell you where like she's doing this here and this here and this here. But you get the feeling that maybe her way of doing things isn't necessarily the way that one of the other ones would do things.
Okay.
And like maybe that's where some of this chaos is coming from.
I want to like grab the spices that were hovering above the foods and just grab them and properly start seasoning the food for the ones that were missing and say, I can take care of this one. And I start seasoning the food there.
Okay. She sort of begrudgingly is like, well, all right, I guess. And then like starts, but she lets you do that. And with her mother in there, she sort of puts the wand to the side and sort of starts doing things the old-fashioned way. But they seem to be making some pies of some kind. They're gonna probably like cook and let sit.
Meat pies, fruit pies.
We're gonna say it's a shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie.
A
Okay.
little bit.
So I'll offer to dice up the meats for the shepherd's
Okay.
pie.
Peter makes the
Party
best
is wondering
fucking
if you're
shepherd's
just-
pie. Just FYI, like legit. So he'll do it well.
That's where I need to be.
Yeah.
Put me in front of a cutting board.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just imagining after a while you're just going to be making all of it.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, hey, Gunolf, one of the daughters of the innkeeper was really fascinated with my hand, the robot one, and I told her I'd connect her with the inventor. I was a little reticent at first, but I think I was being overly cautious. I think she was just curious.
And after taking pretty good notes about what's going on with the runes, the rune stones, or whatever we are kind of call them, and the shackles, be like, yeah, okay, yeah, absolutely. I'll see if I can give a few pointers and maybe see if I can go back to the shop real quick, grab one and show it off for a demonstration.
She'd probably love that. No rush. Just word of advice. I think the mom was not thrilled at this curiosity, so just keep that in mind if you go try to look for her.
Hey, sometimes curiosity can be a good thing.
Yeah, I agree, but maybe keep it on the down low.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So Albus, you're cooking up a fucking storm. You're doing God's work in that kitchen.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll for my ingredients?
Yeah. Go for it. And
he
like I
gets
said, if
one
you're gonna
for
help,
free.
We get 5.
if you're helping them out, feel free to pick one of them.
Okay.
They'll easily let you grab one.
Cool. So
A 5 and a
2.
2.
5 is umami. So whatever the shepherd's pie, whatever was in there, usually it's like sheep. So I can grab
Like
some
some
sheep
kinda-
possibly from them.
Okay. Mhm.
And then 2 is salty. So if they've got
So
some extra-
they have a sizable amount of sea salt
Ooh,
that they use. Lighthaven has their own brand of sea salt that they
Nice.
sort of cultivate here. So there is an abundance of that, and that is more than likely what they would have on hand.
okay. Lighthaven sea salts. And then the one extra, I think I will do. We'll do a sour food. I need some more of that.
The last thing I'll say to Gunolf is kind of under my breath, like, hey, Gunolf, take Kestrel
Mhm.
with you too when you go. I'm sure she'd be interested to learn more about the runes and the mechanical work that you're doing. But I think it'd just be good for her to talk to someone her age.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I can rouse
We're
her out
sitting
of
in
her
front of each other.
meditation.
Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I was.
I'm kind of listening to this.
Oh, well,
And-
I was
and
stuck
you
under
also
my
heard-
breath on
heard-
this last point.
Oh, my sorry.
If you were
okay,
still
I'll
trying
mind
to
my
listen,
business.
I wasn't like. You
I'm
probably
not
could have
paying
heard,
that
but I
close
was
attention.
trying to talk a little bit quieter.
Mhm.
Okay.
And you definitely heard my comments of, hey, curiosity can be a good thing.
Yeah.
And I heard that.
Yeah.
Did you?
My
I mean, I
eyes
was
snap
right.
open, and I'm like, no. Curiosity,
No.
dangerous.
One quick question,
You
Jason.
must remember.
Yes, Peter.
Could I make like a little bit of extra in the kitchen to bring up to everybody else?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna do that after
And if-
I finish up.
And
in the
if you
kitchen.
need, did you pick a particular sour, or would you like me to let you know what I have on
something
hand?
called sharp roots.
Sharp roots?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unrelated.
named it.
Unrelated to
But
Marie Sharp.
I made
okay.
a couple extra shepherd's pie for everybody else to bring
Nice.
upstairs.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, nice.
On the note of resting activities, I'm going to make a bond with my brother Wolf.
Okay. You want to
Of affection.
denote that on your character sheet.
I did do that.
Okay. What bond was it?
It was affection.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Because I love my brother Wolf.
Can we make bonds with NPCs?
You absolutely can.
yes.
And organizations,
And places.
places,
Okay.
all kinds of things.
So I want to make a bond with Gunnolf's brother.
Kiss
Okay.
of-
Kiss
Yeah.
of admiration.
Okay.
I know I overuse this meme too much, but the fucking Predator,
Yeah,
Arnold, and her
Yes.
The
I
classic
was
Yes.
thinking
Push
more
it over the bun
Full Metal
face.
Alchemist, where Armstrong and the other guy. come
Yeah,
together.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You son of a bitch.
Pushing too many pencils. Hey, Albus.
Dylan.
He's
Oh.
dead.
But it's a good thing you spent
I
that
know.
fabulous point. Otherwise, it would have been like a
Sad.
limp dick handshake.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
instead, now you've made this bond.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And Myru.
So I think I forgot to do this last time. But if I can add a bond with Rosalind, I would like to do that because we were talking a lot about our sisters and missing them and wanting to find them, and Myra really related to that struggle, so she would do admiration for that. And then if possible, I want to update my relationship with Kestrel to be affection now that we've kind of
We had a
talked.
Nice talk.
And yeah, we had a really nice talk and about our families and situations and cleared the air. So I'd like to update that one. And then I'm wondering if I can do exploration as my other resting activity.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Yeah.
I was initially I was thinking of going to the theater and going to see a show
Mm-hmm.
because I know I'm going to be going there tomorrow, but it's kind of for business. So it'd be fun to go and kind of see what they're all about. It occurs to me I don't think I have any money to do that though, so maybe I'll just
You guys can just ask. I have the money. In fact, everybody gets 100 cent it right now.
Okay.
I mean,
There you go.
and the reality
that's so
is,
sweet.
Done.
I will say, as far as exploration goes,
Mhm.
Yes, Kestrel, that involves you too.
if you wanted to go out
Cool.
and look, and you say
More
found that there
shinies.
found that that you didn't have enough money to get into a show, that can be part of the exploration. You may find other things. So part
Okay.
of the exploration is seeing what you can find. So
Okay.
don't be afraid to say, I'd like to go see a show. And if it doesn't really work out, then it doesn't really work out. But I'm sure
Okay.
it's something. I mean,
Yeah, I'd like to do that then.
Okay. So you kind of go walk the city at night then, essentially. You want to look around. Do you kind of ask for directions as to where the theater is and everything like that, or okay.
Yeah, I would probably need to know where that is.
Well, and they basically direct you down that sort of main sort of kind of white stone path that heads through the main kind of part of the city, and they kind of tell you to head north when you kind of hit the split that's there, and as you follow it, the white stone way, you do eventually arrive at the theater, and Dulay Theater is a large building. The sort of front of it, the first floor where the foyer and everything would be, are large stained glass windows that have all these sort of depictions of all kinds of artists, singers, musicians, actors, some magicians even, all kinds. Notably, which is something that you would probably notice more than some of the other people here in this party, is that all of the people depicted are human or elven or something of the sort. There are no beast folk, which is certainly different from where you come from, where almost everyone is a beast folk. So there's a certain level of separation between the kinds of people that are depicted in the art here than what you were used to where you come from.
Interesting.
But yeah. So do you want to try to attend a show? Anything of the sort? Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see what they're showing.
What are the shows? What are the options?
Yeah.
What's
The
on the
options?
marquee?
Well, what's on the marquee? That's a great question. Currently, tonight they have an opera going right now, a play. Judging by the title, of it.
What is the title?
What is the title?
Stop, Sean.
It is the midnight. The
Spectre
Midnight
of the
Dance
Opera.
is what it's called.
Midnight Dance.
No,
Name every actor.
Midnight Dance.
Yeah, I was
Name
playing.
every
What's the
actor.
score?
Who's the lead?
Who's the
Not
lead?
tell me the plot.
How many people are in it?
Act it
Where are
out for
their
the next
pants?
hour.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want
What's the
to
language?
try to? What's
Sorry.
the language? It is in the standard.
Starring
language here,
Desmond
okay?
Domingo.
Mm.
He's a hot
Desmond
actor in
Domingo.
Lighthaven.
Who?
So do you want to attend? Do you want to go see if you can get in?
Yeah,
How
Let's
much?
see if I
How,
can get
how
in.
much Zenny do you have on you?
100.
100. Okay. No, easy. It's 20 Zenit to see the show.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Okay. So you get a ticket and you go in and you sit, and the show's sort of already going. It's not like you really planned this. But you seem to have caught it pretty early in like the first act or so. And it is a sort of a play depicting this like sort of friends to lovers kind of arc between characters that kind of seem to symbolize like a sort of like a dark prince of the moon and like this sort of brilliant princess of the sun, and they sort of have this back and forth where they can never really like meet each other or like touch each other. That's like they're on opposite sides of everything. And as the acts go on, there's a lot of like drama and turmoil and heartache, and like one of them shuns the other one, and by the end of it they end up finally together in this sort of visually symbolic like eclipse, so to speak, where they are finally like intermingled together, the sun and the moon, and it's a big beautiful sort of play all together, sort of interweaving the symbolism of day and night all together. So
That's a happy ending.
Myru cries. She loves
Aw.
it. Just like, this is my kind of story. Oh my god.
How was
She is
Desmond's
so
performance?
invested.
Is it good?
yeah, how was Desmond? That Desmond the lead actor? How would you rate his performance?
Out of a scale of 1 to 10?
Sure.
However you want to rate him. You're the critic here. You know, you just do thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm gonna say that they were all fantastic. 10 out of 10 easy.
Great.
Fantastic out of
Desmond
10.
Fellow,
He's the lead actor.
Myru undoes her bond earlier and puts it towards this dude.
Do they have the equivalent of roses you can
Oh
throw on
my.
stage afterward?
Oh yeah. Did you get a rose thrown on stage?
That was 80 Zenit. That's not enough.
It was 4 times more than the show.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
As far as like the artistry is concerned, on a sort of deeper level, since that is sort of what I imagine that you're here for, perhaps the most sort of, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't think transgressive is the word here, but the thing that really pushes the envelope in this particular production is some of the songs, especially the ones sung by like the Dark Prince of the Moon or whatever, they are sung in essentially, you can think of it like how it's almost like a play that is like part English, part Latin, only it's part sort of like your standard speech. And then they have some speech that is like actually like the demonic tongue that like, it's very like, ooh, should you be doing that or whatever?
Ooh,
but
pushing the
they're
envelope,
very
Desmond.
like, it's very, it's very sort of forbidden, you know what I mean? But it's very, very beautiful. It's sung very well. But there's definitely some discussion about it kind of after the show amongst the audience as people are sort of going back and forth with each other. And, there's some people think it's too much. They went too far. And other people are like, oh, it's beautiful. Like, yeah, they're pushing the envelope. There's a lot of kind of that back and forth, essentially.
I love that. Can you believe they did that? It's so good looking, though.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's all the gossip that's happening
Yeah.
right now.
I'm
Yes,
just thinking
yes.
Myra comes back and she's like, Hail Satan.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
You were gone for an hour.
Yeah. It's done.
lot
so hot
happens.
though.
Jason, does
He's so
anyone,
hot.
any of the staff appear to like do a double take upon seeing Myru to any
Ooh.
extent that she notices at all?
Yeah, I would like to roll for that too, if I can.
To see if anybody found it like odd that you were there.
Or
Sure,
even like
make
double
a-
take of like, what's she doing back here? Maybe
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
thinking maybe Tana.
do an insight and dexterity, since that would sort of be like a how quickly you catch glances and stuff like that.
I
Okay.
roll a 12.
A 12.
It's okay.
Okay.
Not
No,
bad,
a 12's,
not bad,
12's
not
pretty
bad. 4.
solid. Do you want to spend any Fabula points before I give you the rundown? Or
Might
Should
as
be worth
well.
should be worth noting that a 13 is often the next highest result after a 10. So if you can invoke a
Mhm.
bond and add a +1, it could be more favorable.
And that would
Yes.
give us an experience.
Invoke your bond to Satan.
Oh.
To
I
bingo.
will I'll invoke the bond with Tana.
Okay.
Maybe she came here and that she would appreciate something like this. This show, this would have been something right up her alley. So Myru would, sort of miss that she, miss her sister and regret the situation that they're in, but would like to think about how she would have enjoyed this too. So that is
Okay.
the bond that I will invoke.
okay, so you invoke your your bond with your sister.
Yeah.
So what exactly? How do you? So you don't necessarily. How to put this? During the show and sort of on your arrival, you don't really notice anything. You don't catch anybody like shooting you glances or anything like that. At least nothing any more than like what you might have, caught from, just you're not exactly common, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. So as you're sort of, you watch the show, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. But as you sort of leave the theater, wherever, and you kind of go out into the foyer, and there's all kinds of discussion, and people are sort of meeting, and sort of people haven't really dismissed for, after everything. You do catch some people shooting you glances. There's in particular, there's like a couple, like a man and a woman, and they are sort of talking, and the woman keeps sort of like shooting like you glances, and then like looks to the man, and then he kind of keeps like trying to shush her down, and then she like kind of looks at you or whatever. And they're maybe the only ones that you notice, but you do notice them like looking at you. Do you want to approach them, or?
I kind of
Hell
do.
yeah.
I
Kill 'em.
kind of do, but I want to go over and just be like, I'm not going to call them out on the fact that they're looking at me, obviously. I would just go over and be like, wasn't that a beautiful show? And then just try to talk about the show and ignore the fact that they are, obviously.
What the fuck you looking at?
And so as you ask about the show,
Jason's
and,
not prepared for combat. I'm just kidding.
I look, we make anything happen. While just start killing people in the foyer, yeah. Definitely beating those allegations that you're not.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hold on.
The Ultros fight all over again.
Yeah.
So as you ask, like, oh, what a great show. The man of the couple goes, oh yes, of course, phenomenal show. I was just speaking. Oh, sorry, that's my Jason go to work.
No,
but I'm
it's
not.
in character. Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, yes. Oh my god. Oh, my pocket watch. Sorry. No. So he goes, it was beautiful. I was just telling Rena here that it's, and she goes, hush it, Boris. Are you a kitsune?
Myru nods and says, she'll extend her hand to shake their hands and say, yes, I am. You can call me Myru.
And she goes, "Oh, I just knew it. Oh, Boris here was saying, no, she must just be one of those fox folk. But I told him, no, look at how she's dressed. She must be a kitsune. We've spent some time out in the east, in the capital, but we have never had the opportunity to meet a kitsune in person. We have studied all kinds of artists and dancers. Oh, but never have I ever. It is an honor to meet you. Oh, you're so gorgeous. I love your dress. As you can see, I have tried to fashion myself a little bit like it. And you notice to some degree, there are some elements of her dress that kind of have a bit of sort of a capital sort of look to them. It's like sort of like the wrapping that you might find on like a kimono, but not quite with the rest of the outfit. You know what I mean? There's a couple of
Yeah.
those sort of, you can tell there's a bit of a blend there that maybe you didn't notice at first.
Mhm.
And there are some fabrics. She's sort of got like a bit of a scarf, sort of tucked in on the top. That is certainly some of the silks that you might have actually found closer to where you live. So she seems to be telling the truth. And she just compliments your dress, and she goes, oh, I love what you did with all of this. Where are you from? The capital? Have you been from over there? Wow, what brings you here to Lighthaven?
So Myru will thank her for the compliments, and then also compliment her outfit as well, that it looks very authentic, and you did a lovely job with the colors. And in response to where she's from, Jason, just to confirm, the Ameriu Islands are not part of the capital. They're technically separate, right?
Correct. The capital itself is like a large floating Kirin sort of structure slash city. Think of
Mm-hmm.
it like a space station that's not in space, but you can walk around it. Think of it like
Okay.
that. Like if
Yeah.
you had a floating city in the sky, that's basically what it is. Yeah.
And I think is it close enough that we can see it from our island?
Oh, I would say so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she would just describe then, well, actually, I'm not from the capital per se, but I am from some islands that are actually quite close by. In fact, back home, you can see the capital in the sky on certain times of day, if there's not a lot of cloud cover. It's quite a sight to behold.
And she goes, which island are you from? We haven't had the opportunity, unfortunately, to visit all of them, any of them, but Boris keeps promising me that it'll happen. It hasn't yet, Boris. And he goes, oh, it's expensive, my dear. We can't just go everywhere. And she goes, whatever. It's such an honor to see you. Oh, what did you think of the show? Give us your full opinion all the way down. You must know all the famous names. Oh, give it to me totally straight, dear.
How can I be vague about the answer with the islands? Because I don't necessarily want to call out like, here's my island in my house.
Just
my
ignore
family's
it.
there.
Just move on to the
Yeah, just
actors.
move on
Just be
to
like,
the
yeah, all the
actors.
actors were great.
That's how you do it.
Anyway,
Yeah,
lady, I gotta
yeah,
go.
I kind of just want to like, oh, the show. I thought that Desmond and whoever played the princess, whatever her name
Desmond.
is, Desmond
Also
and
Desmond. It was a one-man show.
Dutrice. Charlotte Dutrice was the actress.
It was
cool.
Charlotte Dutrice.
Where
Yes.
are these names? I love it. Desmond and Charlotte, their performances were stunning, and the love story was so beautiful, and I loved how the show incorporated other languages to help enhance the story and the themes. It was just so well done.
And she goes, oh, I agree completely. Oh, it's so provocative, so transgressive. You know what I mean? Not everyone is willing to do that, but I love when an artist is willing to push the boundaries. You know what I mean? We can't live in this safe little space anymore. We've got to be willing to get out there. You know what I mean? Oh, I just think of, you're from the East. I'm sure you heard about what happened to Master Yoshi.
Shit. Try to think how to respond to this. Her ears are gonna prick up as if she has no idea, and say, no, I wasn't acquainted with Master Yoshi. I've actually been on the road for quite some time. You see, I'm not really in touch with the goings-ons back home.
She goes, oh, well, I like to keep my ear to the ground, you know, and I must say, I was shocked, stunned to hear killed in his own home. Ugh. And after some of the more amazing works he'd been doing recently, they were visceral, you know, ooh, bloody. And yet someone did that to him. Oh, to take such an artist in their prime, tragedy. I can't believe it. I hope nothing like that happens here in Lighthaven. Can't even imagine. It's so close to the capital, too. Monsters out there. Monsters, all of them. To take those artists away from us? Isn't that right, Boris? Indeed, dear. It's terrible.
Monsters, monsters.
This poor guy.
But yeah, she goes, oh, it's a shame that you aren't familiar with it because there won't be any more. That's truly the tragedy. Oh, unless that's part of the work. Oh, what if he took his own life? That could have been it. Who knows?
So meta.
Ooh.
Um,
And Boris is like, I don't think that's how it happened. I shouldn't start any rumors. And she goes, hush, you don't know what you're talking about.
Myra's, yeah, just gonna try to roll with the punches in this conversation as much as possible, and I'm just like, oh, you know, yes, like what a tragedy, what happened, that's so sad when an artist is taken before their prime, and yeah, just like not really confirming or denying anything. Also, what's happening with my camera?
You're gone.
I'm blurry.
Oh no.
no.
God,
Yeah,
Rena
so
knows
she'll just
everything. She knows more than Scratch did.
Just say she's our information broker.
I
We're
was
set.
gonna say, yeah, like, should we trust her?
Apparently.
Get her phone number.
But yeah, she then starts to tell you about like a number of like other sort of recent happenings, like Lady Io, and like how she's been doing these amazing things with like wooden sculptures and been moving
Mhm.
into like basically wooden weaponry and this sort of like stance on life and death and the vicious battle. And like you can tell that she is definitely locked in to a major chain of gossip between here and the East to some degree. It is unclear how much of this information is particularly reliable. You get the feeling this is all gossip, all of it, head to toe. But there is probably some semblance of truth in at least when she talks about like having seen these artist artwork. She seems to, at the very least, as you can tell, be willing to attend shows, and she's talked about going to like some of the not like a concert show, but like some of the shows that the artist put on, you know, like the showcases and
Mhm.
whatnot. So she names a couple of our other artists. There was Lady Io, obviously. Mako, what an amazing poet. You know, she goes off about a couple of them.
Mhm.
You're familiar with some, but
Yeah.
you've been traveling almost more than it seems like maybe she has. She almost has more up to date gossip than you at this point. But yeah, so unless you have any particular questions for her, she'll basically just talk your ear off and ask you questions about anything at this point.
I feel like this
Yeah.
is the person that's just going to give you a whole list of people to be like, all right, I need to see this person. This
Mhm.
Yeah,
person."
exactly.
Hopefully we were right.
And
this
Maru is
down.
very enthusiastic about learning more about these artists and their work, and like who she recommends, and
Yeah.
maybe who she wouldn't recommend, and just different things like that. She's on board for that aspect of the conversation now that it has gone away from Yoshi.
Okay.
Michaela,
Okay.
do you think she would know, like, someone in charge of the theater and can maybe, like, because you wanted to ask around the theater,
Oh,
right? Some of the
yeah.
higher ups.
I did. I was gonna save that for tomorrow, but I guess I could do it tonight.
Well,
I mean,
no,
if
no, no.
people are there in the lobby, or
I'm thinking you could still save that, but like you could see maybe this person knows can make that connection for you, or not. I was just
oh, that's a good
I was
idea.
curious.
No, that is a good idea. Yeah, I guess Myru would ask, just do Rena and Boris come here often, and who, how long has the Do Light Theater been around? And just kind of ask general questions about the theater and
So-
their shows.
So she will talk your ear off about how often that they've gone here and other shows. So I will say this: if you'd like to maybe kind of navigate this conversation to get something in particular, maybe make me like an insight and willpower check
Yeah.
to see if you can kind of steer this where you're looking, because
Yes.
this is very much like herding cats in a way.
14.
14. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
6
sort
and
of
8.
so she's in the middle of talking about some of the other productions that they've gone through. And when she talks, she kind of name drops at one point the sort of what would you want to call it? The guy, the director, was it be the director? The guy that runs the theater, and the owner, and his name is Reginald. And when she kind of mentions him, you sort of are like, oh, I'd love to meet Reginald, and talk about these sorts of things. And she goes, I could easily set that up for you. He would love to meet you. Somebody from the East. Oh, that absolutely, dear. When are you available? We could do brunch tomorrow, maybe. Are we busy tomorrow? And she looks to Boris, and Boris is like, we're not busy, dear, I assure you.
We don't have time.
And she's like, but don't you have the thing? He's like, you are more than welcome to go do whatever you would like to do. I can handle myself. And she's like, of course, yes. Do you want to meet Reginald? I could get something going.
Myru nods enthusiastically and says, yes, I could do brunch tomorrow. I would absolutely love to meet him.
Okay. So I mean, she says she'll set it up. She says that you guys should meet. There's a little place on Baker's Street called it's just called Tea Time. Frankly, it's a little tea shop. It's a little place that she likes to go to. She says they have wonderful little desserts. It's a little outdoor place. The tea is phenomenal. They get it from all, but she goes on and on about a bunch of stuff. But the point is, you have a brunch tomorrow with the guy that runs the theater.
Excellent.
Myru's like, can't come
Lovely.
research, have brunch.
I'll join you guys later. Sorry.
Yeah.
Something came up.
Got a big brunch date.
The art is calling my name.
Mhm.
God. Mhm.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay. So, unless there's anything else that you'd like to discuss with Miss Rena here,
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Okay. You bid adieu, and you go about the rest of your night, heading back to the inn. Is that everybody? That was everybody, right? Myru was the
think
last
so,
one.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the child that wants to take a look at prosthetics, and we didn't know if Kester wanted to be in on that conversation or not, but
I wasn't invited.
you are more than invited.
So I will say, if you ask for where she is, Miss Kate says that she's already gone to bed for the evening.
Oh, okay.
They are, you know, they're
Children.
not all up at they're all not they're not all they don't work these young girls. I mean, they're not like children, but they don't work these young women to the bone and to the middle of the night. So they are allowed to sleep, believe it or not.
Well, perfect.
So yeah, yeah. you guys are able to sort of rest for the evening and start your day fresh and new. What would everybody like to do? Start of the day, brand new day.
Well, I'll do a time check really quick. How are we doing? Is this a good stopping point, or is there a little bit more that we should try to get to? And
It might be a good stopping point. It might be a good stopping point.
Okay.
We'll cut it there, and we can start with you guys tackling your many different tasks in Lighthaven when we get together next.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds like a bunch of
Awesome.
us are gonna head towards the House of Knowledge. A couple people are gonna be doing different stuff, but so we'll have a little bit of a split. But yeah, sounds good.
There's at least one brunch happening.
One brunch.
And
Yep.
and Sharp, you were thinking about going rogue a little bit.
A little.
I think you're gonna join us
Okay.
House of Knowledge, but then try to like split off, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find anything about Leopold or whatever.
I mean, he is your husband.
Whatever his fucking
Whatever
name
it
is.
says. It's
Yeah.
That bastard.
Yeah.
If Myru tells the group about her experience the night before, in the morning as we're gathering our stuff to go somewhere, Roz would ask if she wants someone to accompany her.
I feel like Kestrel would die to go to brunch, but there's also the library. So it's
Need library.
Okay.
All the things, dude.
Books.
That's
There's
true.
gonna be like Lilu from The Fifth Element in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The library could have
Yeah,
anything.
true.
It could even have brunch.
True. You can learn all about brunch at the library.
Yeah, but Myra,
And then you'll
The
be
most
prepared.
what do you
important
say to
keyword.
Roz?
Oh, I mean, I would say that anyone is. I could, if a +1 wanted to come, they certainly could, but I also don't want to take you away from arguably more important tasks like the House of Knowledge. So she appreciates the offer, but does not feel the need to say that anyone specifically has to come with her. Her plan is to have brunch, talk to Reginald for a bit, maybe try to get some more information on Tana, and then to join you guys at the House of Knowledge if all goes well. So.
Perfect.
Nice.
I may tag along.
If I'm hungry enough.
I'd be happy to have you.
So I think that settles our plan for next time. Gives Jason a course, and that should just about do it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Cool.
Ooh.
It's a good session, everybody. So-
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you.
and thank
so
you,
much.
viewers. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for hosting again.
Yeah.
Thanks.